Hello, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the Inside View. Today of all days, I am so happy because the Inside View tonight is blessed to guest the first Nigerian female to be made a double mayor of Enfield. She has worked in the NHS as a qualified nurse and also as a midwife for 40 years and have also provided for 4 children as a widow. And I see that, was not enough. She pursued her passion for law and became a qualified lawyer, which enabled her to serve her community at a different level. She became the councillor, deputy mayor, and the mayor of Enfield. Tonight, let us all welcome Dr. Kate Anolue. Mommy Kate, thank you so much. I call you mommy because I've got a permission to call you mommy. So
That's
thank
fine.
you so much. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Like I know we've said this, behind, but I just want to publicly thank you for, honoring this invitation. Thank you so much. And also, once again, welcome to the Inside View.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
I just have to say thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here as well. So I
Wow.
appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. Viewers, I have chosen to call her mommy, but she is Dr. Kate Anolue once again. Auntie Kate, you have lived an eventful life. You've done it all. But tonight, we just want to know, how did you start and how did you do it?
Once again, Nana, thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
I don't know how long we have today, but obviously, I just have to say everything briefly.
No
And
worries
that
at all.
briefly,
No
and
worries
that
at
is the
all.
reason why,
Yeah.
a lot of people said you got to put this in book, and I've got my autobiography, which is in Amazon.
Oh, I
So I
think I've
think
got you here. Don't worry. I've got
oh
you here.
wow.
Got you here. I've got you here.
So
Don't
you
worry, I've got you
have.
here. Yes.
Yes, and it's because sometimes I don't feel I've done anything. I just felt that I was doing it's a passion that I was doing my time for purpose, the reason why I'm in this world. I'm one of seven. I'm the eldest of one of seven, and five boys and two girls. And during that time, being the first, it's always, especially if it's a girl, we have a big burden, to be part of the raising the family, especially since my immediate brother came after 7 years. So that means I'm really much older than them. So I'm their second mama, if not even the first mommy to them. So I think this is where I kind of my leadership skill, kind of came up. Is like somebody who was born to be a leader. Gradually, I think this is what it is, because in any area, in any place that I come, it only takes few seconds, and I take charge, and not in a bossy way. Just take charge because there is something I think this is the way it should be done, and that way it's be done. For that reason, I want to do it. And I'm not the type of person who wants people doing things for me, because I feel one is I've got an idea. Second is wasting time. Third, why should you do it? I've got two hands. I'm able body, and I should be doing it. So I tend to do things myself. And obviously, as growing up, being the first in the family, I went, my father is, every time I mention my father, I need to acknowledge my dad, because being a girl, his friends told him, you don't have to send her to school because she's a girl, she soon get married. You've got five boys, you got to train them, so save that money. But my dad, being somebody who believed in gender equality,
Mhm.
in those days, he believed in gender equality. He said, no, it's my child. Whether it's a girl or boy, I'm going to give her equal chance that I would have given to the boys as well. Hence, he sent me to school, and I took it from there. I love my dad, and I think he done me a very good thing, because without him, I probably wouldn't be here. Would probably just a full-time housewife having babies, and that's all. So he believed in education for girl child, and that is why I also took that upon myself to talk to women about, being proactive and being independent and doing things for themselves, and also believe in themselves and knowing that they can do anything, and I think I've touched every part of life, single mother, widowhood, profession, community work, so show them that they can actually do anything they want to do. It's in the mind, in my mindset, they have to determine, and they have to be strong, and they trust themselves. So that was my journey. And that leadership skill came out a lot as well when we had the civil war in Nigeria. But then I was just in my early teens. But I took it up on myself to help my mother. That is in making sure that none of my brothers, siblings, suffer from kwashiorkor. So I was doing a little bit of petty trading, which I helped my mother before the war. So, to serve the community has always been my, kind of my goal, and doing things as well, not being idle, always active. And there's nothing to say this is for the older people to do and this is for the younger people to do. I just believe I can do any of them. Hence, it was well tabulated in my autobiography, how what I did and how I done it, and how I helped my parents to survive, my parents and my siblings to survive the Civil War without suffering at all from kwashiorkor, because we're a large family, a family of 9. It's not easy to feed when there is war.
So, normally when you ask people who they are, they tend to, refer their parents as their reference point, and what they've done, that has really shaped the kind of people that they are today. Which obviously you've, referenced your father and also your mom, but then you may mention that your background or your upbringing did not drive your ethics. Why did you say that, or why did you say that?
Sorry,
What is
go repeat,
Yeah, you said your background and your
Yes.
upbringing did not drive your ethics, because we see you to be a self, determined person. You're so assertive, and like some of these things, we tend to pick them, whilst you're growing up from our homes and everything.
Yes.
So for you to say that none of these, especially your background or your upbringing, did not drive all these, ethics,
Yeah.
why did you say that in your book?
Yes, I believe that because while I was when I got married, I was coming over to England here. My dad, all he wanted me to be a nurse, but being a nurse, and I did, obviously I did satisfy and fulfill my father's wish, and he was happy. But then for me, it's not enough. I don't think I've done anything yet. I feel that within myself, it's not. I wasn't someone who is looking at who has a role model. At that time, I didn't have a role model who I'm looking up to and said, I like to be this person. What is coming is me knowing who I am. I believe as of that time that I know who I am, and that this is what I actually want to be. I wanted to be a lawyer, and that's all that is in my mind. But having been a nurse is, for me, is satisfying my father's wish. That's what my father wanted. But what is it that myself, Kate, wants? There was something else. And I noticed that, especially when I said to my brother, oh, I like you to study law. And I said to my daughter, I like you to study law. Because I didn't have the opportunity to do it, I still think, okay, I can transfer that to someone else. Let them do it for me, and I feel satisfied. But then even that, I didn't feel satisfied. I feel I need to do it myself. Don't get people to do it for you, because at the end of it, then that you still have that, that urge to be what you feel that you really want to be. So this is why I think for me, the drive was me. The drive was me, and the drive also wasn't looking at someone else who has done it. As of that, it's only now that we talk about role models. In those days, we didn't talk about role models, because when I say in those days, remember that I am 73, going 1974. So that means that in those days, definitely, we didn't, they were there, but we didn't use the word role model a lot. We use it now, and then we go back to history, and then we start to read about, strong women, women activists, women who have worked so hard to, to make sure that women, we can vote. Those days we didn't have to vote. You remember the suffragists? We didn't have to vote. We are not allowed to vote. But then there are women who are role models who we never thought until now. Recently, we are now beginning to, say, yes, these are role models. Look at what they did, and we want to do that. So for me now, I look at them and I said, oh, I want to add this to myself. I need to do this, and then I also read and say, how did they do it, and what motivated them to do these certain things that they've done in their life? And I can see that some of them are the things that motivated me, that is actually helping the community, helping people, and trying to make sure that people know who they are, and they are able to, to look within themselves and say, this is who I am, and I want to be. I want to make sure that I achieve that, in myself. And this is what led me to writing my second book.
That's amazing. We see, the glorious part and being the double mayor and, having achieved a lot. But I think a lot of people don't know that you single handedly looked after 4 children. And we have a lot of single parents watching us, feeling, so lost sometimes, overwhelmed, and also labeled, as society, actually leads with. So for you, what was the hardest part of you being a single parent, and how did you overcome, the biggest hurdle of being a single parent?
I think it was a kind of a big shock, Um, for me, I believe that I got married, to live with my husband forever, ever, bring up our children and see our grandchildren together. But it's sorrows for us to wish, but it's the wish of God that really, it's always first. So what happened, when my husband sustained an accident that, that he passed on, we were in the 13th years of our marriage. So I've only got kind of married for 13 years. And then I had 4 children, one of them 12, 9, 5, and 18 months old, 2 girls and 2 boys. I thought, for me, I thought my life is gone, it's finished. That is the first thing I said, that's it. I've had it, I have no life. But I think something was ringing in my ears, and I remember it's one of my children's godparents who said, no, Kate, your life is not finished. You got these 4 children. That's your responsibility. You got to bring them up. But you have us around. We'll support you. And I thought to myself, 4 children, this is impossible. I couldn't do it. But then, in our language, in Igbo language, it says, in my language, I say it in English, that God does not give you the cross that you cannot carry. It's giving you that shoulder, and that shoulder, you can carry that cross. So I saw it as my cross, and that I need to carry that cross. And I need to now sit down and think about what to do and how I can manage and be able to look after these 4 children and give them the same upbringing that both of us would have done. And I also, the things that I discussed with my husband, like, sending them to Nigeria to study, those things, and I achieved those as well. And that actually made me feel even more happier within myself, that, my first and my second, the first and second of my children that went to Nigeria to study. My son stayed in Nigeria for 6 years to get a feeling of, I said to them, this is what my dad and you wanted, my dad and their dad and myself, wanted for them, for them to have a feel of Nigerian culture, ways of living. So they went to Nigeria, and then again, what I add to it, and I always say to people, no matter how rich you think you are, no matter how comfortable you think you are, no matter how strong you think you are, and if you don't have good friends, if you don't have good friends, you cannot do much. So a friend indeed is a friend in need. And this is so important. For me, I had good friends. And with my friends, I was able to do the things that I want to do, especially going back like doing my studying for law.
Mhm.
When I was studying for law, because I was so eager, I want to do that. I was so eager. So when my youngest one was 8 years old, and that's when I applied, to the university. I was still working full time as a midwife, and I remember very, very vividly when I had the qualifications already because I'm a qualified nurse as well as a midwifery certificate. So, I'm a matured student, So when I went for my interview, I was accepted, but during the interview, they said you can't do it because you got 4 children. You got 4 children, you're working full time. No, you can't do it. Law is one of the toughest degree to study. And I said to people, especially our women, always believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Be determined. Let nobody stop you from doing, achieving what you want. Because for us, we are in this life for a purpose. And with that mindset, I said, I can do it. They asked me to go home for 2 weeks and think about it. I went home. 2 weeks time, they called me back. I got a letter to come back in those days because there is that time we didn't have iPhone. I went back and they said, have you made up your mind? I said, yes, I've made up my mind. My mind still says, I want to study law. It's
Wow.
a part-time evening course, Monday evening and Wednesday evening. I said, I can do it. They said, okay, you know, we admit you can do you can go ahead. I was happy. But one thing I always do, I always work within myself. I don't go around and say, this is what I'm doing because I'm somebody who is not ready to accept failure.
Okay.
Failure, I like to know that I can do this. And then when I know that I'm well grounded, then I
Mhm.
can say, yes, this is what I'm doing. And that's exactly what I did. Because when I didn't tell my siblings until when I was in my third year,
Ooh.
went on holiday. I had so many books with me. And then my brother is asking, what's all this? I said, well, I decided I told you to study it, although you're doing it, but I think I do it myself. He said, well, that's good. When are you going to start? I said, oh, actually, I'm in my third year. He said, what? He said, yeah. I said, yes, I'm in my
Wow.
third year. And he couldn't believe it, you know. And to do this and to be able to do this, that's why I say friends are so important. I've got my very best friend, bless her soul. She's passed on now.
Right.
Blossom. She is the only one I called. I say, Bloss, what do you think? This is what I want to do, the badminton. She said, oh, that's fine. That's great. How are you going to do it? I said, this is so. I plan to do evenings, Mondays and Wednesdays, evenings. And then Friday is my normal day off. I said, but I can take that and go to the library and study with the young people. And that's again where I developed the interest, working with the young people. And she said, is there anything you want me to do or help you out? I said, yes. I said, what, when I'm in labor ward, if when it's 6 o'clock, I'm not out yet, can you come and relieve me? She said, why? For sure, no problem. That's it. You say,
Wow.
that's a friend. This is what you call a friend. And what betide, you will not believe it. For the 4 years, for the
Mhm.
4 years, I never needed her for one day. But she
Wow.
was there waiting in case. So I had my plan B, but I never used my plan B. And then instead of 5 years, I did 4 years because I've got exemption due to my two certificates, staff nurse and midwifery.
Midwifery. Yeah.
So it is important to have friends. With friends, you can do anything, but they have to be real friends that are happy for your progress,
Yeah.
that you can call on, and you know that they're genuine. Because there are those ones that you call friends,
Mhm.
but they are not friends at
Yeah.
all. They are there behind, probably saying, look at her, she thinks she can do everything, and so forth. And yet that is supposed to be your friend. So you have to be careful as well about who your friends are.
Wow. So for you, there were a lot of limitations. One, your age. Two, you had 4 children. Three, you were full time, midwife. I just want to find out, um, what is the most surprising thing that you have learned about yourself as a result of being a single parent? Trying to juggle all these things. What is the most surprising thing that you have learned about yourself?
I think I didn't think I was doing anything fantastic because I was also working in the community, working with women experiencing domestic abuse. Because obviously, working in the hospital, I keep meeting these people, and I thought I must find out, the who are helping them outside in organizations and join them. So for me, I didn't think I was doing anything fantastic. The only time I realized that, oh yes, it looks like I'm this, is when Enfield Borough, conferred me with freedom of the borough,
Yeah,
that is all the way back in 2007.
7 years.
And that's the only time I realized, maybe I'm doing something good. For me, I'm just helping those who needed help. I'm just doing something that is like a calling. I'm just doing something that I feel I need to do. I never for once, even now when people say, oh, this, you've done this, I've done that, I still baffled. I say, I don't think I've done anything. I'm just trying to help those who needed help because for me, I was helped to get to this stage. I was helped to get to this stage. I had also my friends who have teenage daughters that stayed with my children when I do a night shift. They come and stay just in case I'm called out or I'm doing a night shift. And even my boss at work was so good. They gave me the time to suit me. That is making sure that I have enough time to go and pick the children from school. So, but the whole thing is the way you package, call it package yourself. You have to be you have to have that humility. And humility is what I learned from my mom. My mom is a born leader, and I think I got all that from her. But the way I see her, working with other women, I emulated and I love that. And for what, I've never ever in my life seen my mom quarrel with anyone. And I thought all that is from my mom. And I also try to say, is in my book, that I got all this from my mom because not only that I see her doing it, but my mom breastfed me for 4 years.
Oh gosh. Oh, good years. Interesting.
And I only knew that when she asked me about my daughter, feeding, and I said, "Oh, I done very well. I fed her, breastfed her for 1 year." She said, "What, 1 year?" She said, "I breastfed you for 4 years. You go to school and you carry your slate, coming back in the market, and then the women will be saying, 'Nekuya, Nekuya.' That means look at her, she's coming." And before you know it, I'll go at the back of my mom, lift up her blouse, and straight on.
Oh, interesting.
So, so I never forget that. So I think I sapped out all my mom's energy, humility, you name it. I got it all from my mother.
Hmm. Wow. To anybody watching us, we've got Dr. Kate Analue's autobiography. I want you to grab this book. It's on Amazon. To any young girl out there, please get a copy. To my age mates, the 50s and upwards, please, there's still time to do something. When you read this book, trust me, you'll be so energized to do much. You just realize that you've not even achieved, a quarter or maybe a third or anything. But after reading this book, you realize that you'll be fired up to do more. Our mommy is 74.
Yes,
And
I'm gonna be 74 in March next year. So I'm
next year,
exactly
so
tomorrow.
you're
Tomorrow,
73.
tomorrow I'll be exactly 73 and 6 months. We mustn't leave the 6 months
See?
out because it's so
You see?
important. It's so important to me. Yes,
73.
tomorrow, so 26. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow
Mommy, happy
I'll be
birthday in
exactly
advance.
exactly 73 years and 6 months.
Happy birthday in advance. And she's still on the move. So you and I, we don't have any excuse at all. Grab this book from Amazon. If you don't want it, you can even get it for your daughters, your sons, and also your loved ones. And trust me, this will do you a great good after reading this book. Yeah. And mommy, now let's go into
I'm talking about book. This is the
book.
second one.
Oh yes, oh yes, I
This
forgot.
was this was launched
On Friday.
on Friday.
Friday.
Time for Purpose. And I think it's so important. It's like a sequel. It's not a sequel, but it's people were asking me,
Mm-hmm.
people were asking me, they still want to know how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is in sections. You pick up one, you read,
Okay.
and when you finish reading, I'm asking you, it's your turn. So you tell me. So this is actually, some people picked it on Friday, they've actually finished reading it because it's very
Wow.
interesting. It's very
Wow.
interesting, and the way, and it's also in Amazon and Waterstones.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, like if you want more from her, she's got this, the autobiography, and now her second book is Time for Purpose. So please don't hesitate to get a copy for your family as well. Time for Purpose. That was just launched Friday,
Yeah.
so 2 days ago. So Time for Purpose, grab that book as well. Yeah. So now we just want to go into your political, sphere. We don't see much of our ethnic, minority people in the political space. What motivated you to go into it?
Yes, I think everything boils down to me being a midwife,
Mm-hmm.
and not just midwife in the hospital. I was working in the community, and I was delivering babies at home, and then I don't call them patients. I call them clients. The ladies I look after. They're asking, so they come up with questions like, they have poor housing, and they don't know who to go to, or they have, social services, or they have environmental problem, or they have people with their neighbors and things like that. And all these things are questions you go to the council to find out. So I've always gone to the council to find out for them. But one day came on, after I met so many counselors, I said to myself, how did these people become counselors? Have they got
Mm-hmm.
two heads? I just want to find out, So I I spoke to one of those counselors. I said, "Oh, it's nice you're a counselor. How did you do it? How did you get there?" He said to me, "First of all, you have to belong to a political party." So I said, "So where are the political parties?" He mentioned, the Labour Party, Liberal Party, Independent, Conservative. I mentioned all that. I said, "But how do I find out?" He said, I can either go onto the internet and read more about it, or, I can tell you myself, himself, which party it is, and this is what we do. And then after that, I said, okay, I'm going to go home and read. So I started reading about each party. At the end of it, I thought, this party, which is Labour Party, the values of Labour Party, is kind of something that I actually admire, because and that is the way I chose the party that I wanted to belong to. So I kind of go on the internet and signed up. And what they do meetings. The meeting is just once a month in the evening, and then that now took some time from me. This was happening in 1992. In 1992, no, this was happening in 1997. Yeah, 1997. Because by then I've already 97. I finished my law degree, and that's when I started asking, what do I do with my law degree?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to leave midwifery? Because my law degree was from 92. I said, do I want to leave midwifery? I said, no, I still love delivering babies. But what do I want to do with this law degree? I said, oh, number one, I can work with the midwives because we've got Royal College of Midwives Stewards, like a union rep, representing the midwives, on medical negligence, reading the notes and advising and helping them out and supporting them. So that one I did with that. And I said, but what else? How do I want to get into that place? And that's how I started looking for, how to become a politician. So what I did was, after I signed up, started going to the meetings. As I said, meetings in the evening. It takes your time away. So now what happens is that my friends will call me and I say, oh, sorry, I'm actually on my way to the meeting. Now someone said, Kate, meet all these meetings. How much are they paying? What is it all for? How much are they paying you? I said, they don't pay me anything, no. They don't pay me anything. All I do is I listen. But I said, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning. I said, they send me to conference. And when I go to conference, sometimes women conference, I go like at this very moment, the conference is on. I said,
Yeah.
they send me to conference. And then when I finish, I come back, and I write a report, and I read the report to them, to the members. I said, so I'm learning. And they said, oh, I can't do it. See, this is the thing that stops us because there is no money. We always think about money.
Mm.
Always think about money. And this is why we are not integrating ourselves in the society in doing the things. So those things that are not, it's not norm to what we typical, um, um, I can't say Africans, but typical people that came into the country here.
Mhm.
We are here just to make money and send back home. And we don't want to be part of it because for us, we are going back to wherever we come from very soon, you know. So, but I joined them and then I learned a lot because I remember one thing I remember vividly is one of the conference that I went to. It was a lady that was at the pew and they're standing and giving a talk to over 1,000 people. I asked myself, is it possible that I can ever be able to stand in front of so many people to give, to talk? And not only that, anybody can ask you question. And then I said to myself, I must, I must learn more. And that is when I decided I'm going to be even more active. Now, through all that, I didn't know when I was able to stand in front of lots of people to give a talk and answer questions, and even began traveling. I traveled to India to give a talk on women issues. I traveled to quite a lot of the European countries to give talk on women issues. I become so engrossed in women issues, and this is outside my nursing profession, outside my political as well. I chose to join many women organizations and travel with them and network and learn more. And then when you learn more, it stays with you. And then before you know it, I just speak fluently to crowds of people, talking to women, advising them and telling them my story. And that's how they said, of course, you've done a lot. We want you to put it. In fact, I was encouraged by people to write my autobiography, to put things together. So it was for me getting into the political arena was very easy because again I pushed myself. I found it. I pushed myself, and then I said I must learn this and be able to follow the journey. And even to be a counselor, I said to myself I wasn't ready. This was in 2001. Was my MP came and said to me, "Oh, the nomination forms to be a councillor is going around. You want to nominate yourself or people to nominate you." I said, "No, no, no, please, I'm not ready. I'm not ready." He said, "No, you're ready. You are actually doing more work than those that are councillors." And he picked up the form himself and said to me, "Right, you fill it in." And then I started filling in, and then he found people to nominate me. And then, members nominated, and I was selected. And then I had to go for campaigning. The first time I gone for campaigning, that was, end of 2001. And by 2002 May, I became a councillor up to today. So every 4 years I've been elected again. But at a point between 2014 and 18, I needed a break because I wanted to establish my Tender Care Initiative and Forum for African and African Caribbean Women in Politics. So that's the two organizations. So within that 4 years, I established it, and I decided to come back again into the active politics. So I stood for election again in 2018, and then I got through. And it's like we needed you back, and they wanted me to stand again to be the mayor again. So,
Wow.
and the first and only African woman who has been, not just being twice mayor, but in one borough. So, this is how I got into politics. And like I said, I didn't know that people were watching what I was doing. So in 2007, I was conferred with the Freeman of the Borough. In those days, people that are freemen of the borough, if they got sheep, they can graze their sheep freely. They can go into the pubs and drink freely, don't pay, things like that. So,
Wow.
but now, those things are not done, but it's still an honor, because whenever, if anything, as a freeman of the borough now, if anything is happening in the council, like for example, let's take now that we lost our Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, when they were preparing to do have we have what we did every all I think all the boroughs did it anyway, tribute to her. They because we are freemen of the borough, they send us a special letter. So when things are happening, you get letters separately. In as much I'm still a councillor there, but I've got freemen of the borough, so they have to send that in letter to me. So and that stays with you forever, really. And you got your little badge as well. So yeah. So this is how I got into politics.
Listening to you, and you've done so many things. And like I'm thinking, I think I've got two, like important questions last now. I think I'm not speculating, but I think this is the problem on the ground. Sometimes we are, like we get scared to be criticized, for being in the public space. And also sometimes we find ourselves also being torn between our faith, like in terms of church, activities, and also, like doing things in the community. What kind of advice? Because that is also preventing most of us from serving our communities. I mean, how would you strike the balance? Because we have a lot of, amazing, great women that could have also been in your, actually do what you're doing. But sometimes it's either fear or maybe the church activities or, the faith factor. I mean, if you can share your experience, we'll just throw more light on that for us, please. So maybe we can, freely, serve our communities. Not, like not thinking that there's nothing wrong with being in a church and also serving our communities as well. Yeah.
I think it's very, very important for me. I can say to you that the church was part of what has given me the strength. I'm very, very active in the church. I'm a Roman Catholic, and I'm a Eucharistic minister. And I'm very active in the church. We I formed. I'm the one of the founder of Nigerian community in St. Edmunds, where we are over 20 years ago. And what we do, we minus helping ourselves and making sure that we attend to our elderlies. We also assist the church when church is doing things. We organize and do some fundraising and so forth. So you can still do all that. The main thing I always say is time management and discipline. If you discipline yourself, time management. Take for example, today, I mean, over the weekend, I can say to you over the weekend, I've done quite a lot, this weekend, yesterday was Saturday. I'm doing up my kitchen. I went out with my daughter, to go and look for, the things I needed for my kitchen. And then when we finished, I came home, got dressed. I called my friend because, we have a friend from the community leader who's celebrating his 50th birthday. We went and we came back probably about just gone midnight. But then this morning, one of our friends is having a 70th birthday and having a church service, which was for 11 o'clock. We left at 10 o'clock and went there, and be active, and then, enjoyed with her and prayed with her and did church service. When the church service finished, we have another friend who passed on, who's a community leader that passed on. They were having a songs of praise for her, songs of service for her between 2 and 4. So you can. Then we went from the other place, we drove to there, and I've got this with you, and so you can do that. It's the mindset. I feel when you say to yourself, I can't, then honestly speaking, you can't. But when you say yourself, I can, there is an energy inside you that is just going to push you to do it because you just said, I can. And I always say that, if you remember, Obama, when he was campaigning, people were saying he can't do it. But he was going around saying, yes, we can. And I myself, I already said, yes, I can before Obama even said that. So I keep thinking he copied it from me because I believe that, yes, I can. And I've done all those things before Obama come out and say, yes, he can. So it shows you, if you have the willpower and the belief and the trust and the determination and discipline yourself, there is nothing you cannot achieve. And we believe, like you say in my town, that everybody's got a destiny. Your destiny is in your palm and it's there. Even myself, as I'm doing this, I still believe that I've got more to do. I still believe that it's not finished because something is saying to me, there is more things to do. There's more things to do. And people keep thinking that this money is everything. Money is not everything. Money is just something that helps you, support you to do certain things that you wanted to do extra. But being healthy and being able to work with people, and if there's something that you did that you think is impacted and help you in life, show it out and say it out, because people would like to do that and emulate. And this is why I wrote the book. I wrote the book and I simplified it in Time for Purpose. I simplified it. I took it page, like a section. Is Time for Purpose. It's got 10 sessions there, 10 under 10 headings. You got things, I'm not going to say that I want you to go and buy it, but it's actually even better as well, because when you finish, it asks you your turn. So what have you done? Or how are you going to do it? Do you think, so it's like we having a conversation. You're having a conversation with me, and I'm telling you what I've done. And after telling you, I say, okay, what about you? What do you think? Are you going to follow it that way? Or are you going to think? It makes you start to think. You start to think and say, I don't think I've fulfilled my purpose in life. There is more to do. I'm going to follow these steps, step by step, and you'll find that you're going to achieve it, and you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just the way that you set your mind to do it, the way you planned it. The opportunity is there.
Well, so for Auntie Kate, I mean, like we all know that being a mayor or a councillor comes with a lot of criticisms, and being the black female, should I put it that way, vying for that high position. I mean, how did you handle all those criticisms? And then, when you were vying also for that position, what were some of your fears? Because we want to learn from you.
I think being positive helps you to combat fears. If you're positive about yourself and making sure that you know exactly what you're doing, because if you bring yourself forward, you want to do something, you must have thought about it, you must have planned, and you must have got an answer. I've always got an answer for anything. I think that would help you. And then there's no, in life, you can never be 100% correct. There is always someone who's going to criticize what you do. Like we're talking now, there are people who are already criticizing what I'm saying, but that should not make you not to continue to do what you do. As long as you know that what you're doing, you're not hurting anybody. Very important. You're not hurting anybody. You're doing the things that you feel is right for you. That would allay your fears. It's when you try to do something that is going to hurt people, then obviously you're going to be worried, because this thing that I'm doing, I'm going to hurt this person. Oh dear, I shouldn't do it. Then you start to have a mind that is troubled. When your mind is troubled, you are not able to do things, because it says that your conscience is not clear. You got to have a clear conscience to be able to do the things that you want to do. And to be able to do the things, that you're not hurting anybody. You are doing it because this is what you want to do and what is going to help you in the future and maybe help others as well.
Okay, wonderful. Many times we see mayors, going around with this beautiful red coat and metal, and all these fancy stuff. But most of us, we don't know what mayors actually do. What they stand for. We just see them as ceremonial heads and whatever.
Yeah.
What exactly, do mayors do?
Yes. To start with, I just thank God that I was able to be in that situation, not once but twice. It's a very dignified, position, and we are figurehead. For the mayors of boroughs, we don't make decision, but we chair the council meeting. So you're the chair of the council. So you chair the council meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and also you attend schools. They invite you. The schools will invite you to give out certificates. Maybe they're doing competition. They want you to come and be the judge. And maybe a new school is opening. They want you to come and cut the ribbon. Or even the businesses would want you to come. They open a business and they want you to come and honor their business, cut the ribbon, or they want you to come and give speech. And also the mayors will raise fund. We raise fund. We have chosen charities that we raise fund for. In my first year, the charities I chose, I raised money. I raised a lot of money and I shared it among them. And one of them was like sickle cell, children with disability, and the young people who have come out of those that are in care, that have come out of care. When they come out of care, they just push the 18, they just push them to out there, and sometimes they don't have mentors. So to train the mentors who are going to guide them so that they don't end up into the hands of criminals, because remember they're very vulnerable. So I raise money for that. I raise money for also stroke, people that have suffered stroke. So this money is shared among those people, among those charities. So that is one of the main things that the mayors do as well. And the fundraising is do the fundraising through organizing either dinners or running sports, anything, tea party, tea days, anything that you can raise little money, and they have a big fundraising where you have dinner in the evening, dinner and dance or gala nights. So those are the way. So any fund that we raise is for the charity that we are supporting, and that is very, very important for us. So it's the main thing, that once when you're sworn in, people want to know which charity you're supporting, so you name them, and then it's like you carry on to raising the fund for them.
Oh, wow. So, before I ask, you've raised this achievement outside, your mayorship. What is the difference between who a councillor is and a mayor who a mayor? I mean, fine, you've explained to us, the roles of a mayor, but then we don't know what councillors also do because you've been a councillor before and not a mayor. So if you could actually share some,
Yeah.
light on
Mhm.
what your councillor do, please.
Yeah. What one thing you must remember is that you can never be a mayor without being a councillor. So you're a councillor, and it's your councillors, your fellow councillors that now going to you're going to lobby. You're going to lobby. So you're lobbying them. Please, I would like to be a mayor. Can you vote for me? So so you are lobbying your councillors, and it's normally the party that is in power, that elects a councillor from the party that is in power. So in Enfield here, the Labour Party is in power, so the Labour Party would produce the mayor, and to produce the mayor is all the councillors, of the Labour Party have to choose. So they all have to, you have to lobby them, go around and lobby them, asking them for their vote. So for me to have got twice, is for me it's a massive, massive,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
achievement.
So this is what we do. This is how a mayor is selected. So when you finish your mayorship, then you still remain a councillor, because you remember you're a councillor. So you kind of hold into, when you're a mayor, you kind of hold into positions. You're a councillor or you're mayor. But as a mayor, you are representing the whole of the councillors, the whole of the council. So you're not just representing your Labour Party, you're representing the whole council, both including the Conservative or any other party. So, and then you are the chair of that, of the council. You are the chair of the council. So we have a council meeting, you are the one presiding. And also the people, another thing I forgot is when you have been accepted as a British citizen, is the mayor that swears you in as well. So, so that I know that I've a lot of people that I've sworn in as mayor, take picture with them. They see me on the road. They say, "Oh, I've got your picture in my house. You are the mayor that that yes, that gave me my certificate, as a British citizen." So I think that is also really nice. That is very nice. So this that we do, and then the council, the councillor. When you are a councillor, we have the leader of the council. Then we have the deputy leader of the council. Then we have the cabinet members. The cabinet members is like the inner circle that works with the leader and the deputy leader, and each of them got portfolio. Portfolio. I just said name few. It could be the portfolio of education. It could be environment, it could be, health and social welfare, it could be children as well. So quite, and it could be for the local economy and the parks. So each of those councillors that are cabinet members, they've got those portfolio. And so within that portfolio now, we have also like a committee, scrutiny committee leaders as well, chairs, and then we have leader, committee members. So like for example, things like planning, we have chair of planning. Then we have committee members of the chair of planning. To discuss about buildings. Like people when they want to have a building, they bring it to the planning department. The planning department, think that this should come to the main committee. It comes to the main committee. We are the councillors. We decide, that yes, this building is adequate, or no, it's not adequate. There should be some adjustment and things like that. Or no, no, no. So this, these are the councillors. So all the buildings you see, it goes through. Some of them go through the planning, department and the planning committee. And then, same thing, schools, for children, we have fostering, we have adoption. All these things are chaired by the councillors together with officers as well. So, and that's same thing with school as well. So that's the work of the councillors. And the environment, we have a cabinet member for environment. All these people throwing rubbish everywhere, the fly tipping and so forth. We report to them. It's their duty to speak to the officers to make sure that the roads are cleared and clean. So everybody's got their portfolio, and they do that.
Oh, wow, that's a huge, huge responsibility. And so for you, what has been your greatest achievement outside your major?
I think probably, I don't really know. I think for me, I think it's just being able to impact, people. For me, I think is what I call the achievement, that I'm able to, have an impact on people, and they want to emulate some of the things that I've done, because if it wasn't achievement, they wouldn't want to. So for me, it's the people that are following me. I feel that I must have done something good, and I know that in 2019, I was also recognized as an inner Londoner, Greater Londoner, by London BBC, and these are the things that makes me think, yes, I think I'm doing something good, and at the same time, I want to make sure that the women or the people following me, that I am doing the right thing for them, because you don't want people when they copy the wrong thing. I want to know that, yes, that I've left a very strong impact on them, and they wish to emulate that. I think, and then obviously my own town people in 2008 gave me the chieftaincy title, which is Adajalumba Tulugu. It's like our daughter that went to a foreign land that brought us glory.
Wow.
So
Wow.
those are when I see them, I think, yes, you must have done something good, and I like to work with people. I like to talk to people, and I like to work with young people, women, anything that I can do just to help the society.
That's interesting. I mean, for you, we've seen you, achieved a lot, but I just want you to encourage a single mother out there that feels so lost, that feels overwhelmed, and also feels so stigmatized, and do not even know where to start from, because she's got bills to pay, she's got children, to actually raise. But here you are, we're living testimony. You've done it already, children by yourself. You've done, nursing degree, midwifery, going further to read law all by yourself, with no co-pilot, single-handedly. I want you to encourage such a woman who feels that, you know what, that's it, I can't do it anymore. I want you to, encourage such person. I mean, if you have any words, something, don't just kick them. I don't know, but anything that you would, have for such women out there, please.
Yeah, I think I'll continue to speak, speak out on the energy that women, all women have. And I think the most thing that we do to ourselves is when we are in doubt of who we are or in doubt of what we can achieve. And that's when you I always say that if you have 1% negative out of 99 positivity, definitely that will just you're just going to lose all the 99% positive in yourself. So what I'm saying is, don't be negative about yourself. Always believe that you can do it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. And don't be a follower, because sometimes we end up, someone will think, oh, this person is strong person, has done this and done that, and we follow that person, and instead of them helping you, they're actually, it's like you become vulnerable. You become vulnerable because you think, oh, this is my friend. My friend is strong. My friend has done this, achieved that, and so forth. You'll be surprised that your friend can actually use you, probably, you know, in a way that is not going to be beneficial for you. So don't tie yourself down. Keep an eye on those you call your friends, and know whether especially when you want to do things, ask your friend, what do you think about this? You know, if you know it's something that is great, that is going to lead you to a better one, and they're discouraging you, just say, okay, all right, I think about it. That's fine. But with my 4 children, I never ever. It's only once that I thought, oh, that's it. I have no more life. But when someone said to me, you got 4 children to bring up, who's going to bring them up? And I thought to myself, it's true. If I don't do that, I will actually, rob my children of, their future. Because at that age, their future lays in my hand. And I decided, no, I'm going to buckle my belt. I'm going to say that nothing is impossible. And I'm going to say that, yes, I can. And if you need to go back to school, do that. And you don't have to go, you go back to school, you don't have to go full time. You can go evening classes. And especially now, IT is there. You can do so much when you learn IT. I didn't go to school for IT, but because I want to learn things, I want to do things myself. I was teaching myself at the point when I asked my daughter would say, oh, mommy, I told you to go and do some training. I said, but I already know 3/4. It's just about a quarter I'm asking you. I said, anyway, okay, I will go. But, I'm still saying I'll go. I'm still here. I'm, doing a lot for myself, on IT. So I think everything is perception and mindset. Don't discourage yourself. Don't say, I can't do it. Don't say, oh, it's not for my type. And don't say, well, it doesn't matter. It does matter, because there is a lot in everybody. And it's you who's going to bring that out. It's you who's going to push yourself. First of all, you have to empower yourself and then become empowered by someone. Because if you don't empower yourself, how can somebody empower you? You empower yourself by having that belief in yourself, that energy, that yes, I can do it. And then someone else now will see you. Wow, well done. Well done. How did you get to do this? How do you feel about it? And you start talking about, before you know it, someone else is actually looking at you and thinking, I'm going to do something like that. So that's how it goes. It's like it's a circle. It's a circle. You're going round. But, you're going to make it positive. And that positive is going to go on to someone else, who's going to achieve the same thing like you did and even make it better. That's how it goes. When people copy others, they copy to make better. Just like a production in a factory, you do things. That's why researchers are always there. They research, they bring out something, and they continue research because they want to make that thing better. So this is the same thing with the way we live in life. We live in life, certain things we do, and a point we say, I think let me try this another way. And this is, how, things are done. And when you don't know it, things are happening, uh, when I got my doctorate, honorary doctorate, I didn't know. It said leadership. I didn't know I was leader. So these things make you wake up. And I thought, oh, an honorary doctorate, why not? Thank God, So all those things, it comes to you. You don't go, people see you, what you're doing. I don't ring the bell to say, this is what I'm doing. All I want is to do the right thing, do the right thing that can help other people to achieve, because I've done it through working hard myself. However, I've incorporated it with the models, the role models that I've seen, and I said, "Oh, I like what that person has done. I like what this person has done. I want to do more to add to what I've done, or to change it the way I'm going to do it to suit me."
Dr. Kate, since this whole interview is about empowering our young girls out there, what are, to the young girl watching you and wants to follow your footsteps, what are some of the attributes that really help shape your life that you might want to pass on to such a young girl that wants to follow your footsteps?
I think the most important thing is, sometimes it's difficult for the young people to know what they want to do. you know when they're in school, the teachers are talking to them about maybe careers and so forth, but inside them, in innermost, there is something in them that they really would want to do. Say it out. Say it out. Say to your parents, this is what I would like to do. Then people will support you. But sometimes we are forced, like for myself, I didn't want to be a nurse, but that's what my dad wanted me to be in those days. You don't have, these days people can argue and say, no, no, I don't want to do that. But I did that. At the end of it, there's still something saying to me, no, you haven't actually achieved your purpose. And my purpose was to study law. And that's I had to, in my old age. And that means really, that's not, and as long as you're alive, nothing is late. But when people talk about graduates, I come out and talk about graduates. But I also say academic is not all and all. There are people who are born to be skilled. They have skills, and their skills, is what they are born to be. And this is why you can nurture your skill. You can say someone can talk to about, maybe university. You might not be the best candidate for university, but you have got your skill, and your skill is something that is going to is something that is you're going to nurture, and it's going to be your future career. So, and then it will lead you to many different paths. So I think for me, for the young people, is knowing who you are and what you want to study. To start with, you need to have a foundation. And foundation is actually that going to school from primary school, going to school, secondary school, and then your A level. And from there, by the time you are finishing your secondary school, you would have known whether you actually want to go to university, or there is a skill that you want to nurture. And then you talk to the career people, and they would help you. But remember that you are the one to decide. You are the one to decide, because there is something in you that is so strong about you being what you want to be. You want to be a mechanic, you want to be a cook, you want to be a child, you want to do child care, or you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. So it's so nice that actually that we've got these two arms, academic and skill, so that we don't have to say, oh, well, I didn't go to university, I can't do anything. No, you don't have to be. I didn't go to university when I had my midwifery and my nursing profession. I remember that back in Nigeria, I started with teaching. That's what I was, studying, to be a teacher. But my dad has always said, I always put you to do teaching because I want you to have a good educational background, which was great, because when I came to this country and I was asked to do exam, remember, I've just come into the country, I don't know the system. However, we was practicing in Nigeria was the British system, because they were our colonial masters. So I did my exam and just passed my exam. So I was able to get into nursing without being a graduate. So, you know, there is always something that one is able to do. But it's important to have that foundation, because you need to have that foundation. And with that foundation, you will be able to know whether you can carry on the skill, or that you can carry on with on the academic side where obviously you do your A level and go to university, or probably on the side, where you probably just want to do a diploma and get on into, you want to be a chef, you want to be a carpenter, you want to be a mechanic, you want to be, a sports, so many things that you can do. You don't have to be that you must go to university. I didn't go to university, but I did in my older age. And just because it's a passion, something that I really wanted to have in me.
Wow. We cannot end, tonight's discussion without not talking about how you've maintained your energy levels to date and also your fashion sense. We want to learn because I think at this point I can bring out, your pet's name, Katie, stick out. you know, the name that makes your head swell. Yeah, I think I can just bring that name out. I mean, how have you been able to, maintain your energy levels at the
Yeah,
age of
yes.
70? Yeah, how
I,
have
I
you done?
think upon all the things that I do, I'm still someone who is very health conscious, who believes in healthy living, and who believe that exercise is very important. I do, in my younger days, I do a lot of gardening. I like at the back of a garden, I like to plant flowers and, tomatoes and all that. And then I used to go to the gym, I go to the gym and do on the running side, and weightlifting. And then gradually I put it down to swimming. And the reason why I chose swimming is because I remember when I went on a cruise, it was sunny, nice and sunny, Hawaii. And then everybody did straight into the water. And I stood watching. I said, "What? You can't swim?" And I said to my friend, I said, "Listen, when I go back to London, I'm just going to go and learn how to swim." We all agreed. And when we came back to London, I said, "Right, shall we go?" Yes, she came and we went. We registered. After we finished registering, some evenings I said, "Let's go." She said, "Oh, I'm too tired. Why don't you just leave it today?" I said, "No, I'm not leaving it today. I'm going." And I went. And then I continued to do that. And then one day I said to the swimming instructor, I said, "Why is it I can't swim?" I said, "I'm just too heavy in the water." He said to me, "All right, you sit down in this place. I'll watch that lady come in." The lady was coming like a fish. When she got there, she was twice my size. And she said, "So," I said, "Now I know." I said, "I can swim." I just said to the word, "I can swim." So you see how that positive, I can. I said, "Yes, I can." I got myself in the water and I started kicking and doing all the things I was told to do. And then by the time I know it, I started swimming nicely, not too fast, but enough to give me enough exercise. So these days I go swimming at least 3 times a week. I go swimming. And that my friend that both of us registered, up to today, she doesn't swim. You see what it is to be determined. I
Yeah.
determined that I'm going to. And because my friend is not going, doesn't stop me. I carried on and I swim now. And it's good for my back because as a nurse, we all develop back problem. I develop back problem. I even, black sleep disc. And then I had my, my little operation, and then my exercise was absolutely wonderful. The water, because when I went to doctors, they said to me, "Oh, swim if you can." I said, "Yes, I do swim." He said, "Well, Mrs. Anolue, you're in the right place." So I swim. I do swimming a lot, and then obviously I do yoga as well. And the Pilates, but I do more Pilates than yoga. But, you know, swimming is very important. During the lockdown, I was really upset about the lockdown because I said, "Oh my God, I'm the one that was always, always active, always want something to do." But myself and my friend, we decided we go walk. So she stayed on the other side of the road. I'm on the other side of the road. We used the walkie-talkie to talk. And we were doing every other day, we were doing over 10,000 steps every other day throughout the COVID. And whenever I'm indoors, I got my sewing machine. I was sewing little clothes for my grandchildren, and then started my writing because my second book was written during the COVID. And then once after that, I relax and watch television. So I give a lot of time to myself, but it's a matter of how you plan. 24 hours is a lot for someone to be able to achieve, something. I get my, 6 to 7 hours sleep, every night. Obviously, it's a night I got to party, so I probably don't get enough of that, but I try to make
Wow.
it somehow.
So do you still have your P Square moves?
Pardon?
I said, you still have your P Square moves? Since you
Yes.
love to dance.
So, so it's never too late any time to do anything. I love my dance, and I can dance and dance, when I go to parties until the last record stops, then I stop. So those are
Wow.
the things that keep me going. I've never been on diet, but I watch what I eat. So I watch what I eat, but never on diet, you know. So I think
Wow.
these are the things that I do, that anything that it says is good for health, I try to do. But I think
Wow.
it's so important as well to, have you enough sleep. I probably don't get
Mhm.
enough sleep as I should, but I still tell to people they must get enough sleep. It says at least 7 hours, but I do get 6 to 7 on a night that I've gone to party, probably about 5, but I try to make it up.
Mhm. Interesting. So for you, you see how you're blushing. As I mentioned your P Square moves and
And
your kitchen
yes,
stick, you see, you're so
yes,
happy.
yeah. And another thing, I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. So my money goes in clothes. My money goes in
Ooh.
clothes. I don't drink alcohol, and that's right from. It's not today. This is right from when I was in teachers training. We have a organization in because it's a Catholic teachers training. They call it the pioneers. If you Google it, the pioneers, they abstain from alcohol. They don't stop people from drinking, but advise them, on moderation. But and I kept it since then. I don't drink alcohol at all. So my money is used for clothes, and just looking after myself.
And
Um,
you
um, I believe another thing I should say to people is you must love yourself. Self love. Self love
self
is so
love.
important. You must love yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Don't try to be like Miss Jones. And because Miss
Mm.
Jones is like this, you want to be like that, and they start to, you think, oh, you're not good the way you are. No matter how you are, love yourself. It will give you a good aura of mind, that you can be happy, you know, and that, it didn't matter what happens, you feel satisfied within you. I feel very satisfied within me, and I do the things that I think I'll do to help me, and that is loving myself. And then, sometimes I probably come out of the shower or something. I say, I love myself. I say, oh, Kate, you look good. Something like that.
Yes, of course. Why
You
not?
know, and he makes me, and I smile, and then I put up, I dress up, and I turn myself left and right, and I say, yes, girl, put your shoes on, dance, get out, you know.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's so important, and I believe as long as you're breathing, and still alive, make the most of it. There's nothing like aging. Age is a number. All those things you're counting is a number. If you feel you're 100, I'm telling you, you're gonna be behaving like 100. But if you feel that you're 20, 30, you're gonna be behaving that way. So myself, as far as I'm concerned, Kate is just nearly 21.
Oh, I love that. I
Yep,
love that.
Kate is
21.
nearly 21. So
Nearly 21.
yeah, nearly 21. Not quite
Wow.
21. And that's when I get out there, I'm partying. I'm partying. And I just, a party. I respect myself. I respect people, you know. And then, like I said, don't be pompous about yourself. Have humility. It's good.
Mhm.
And you have people around you. You see, people try to call me, say that Dr. Kate, I would have preferred Auntie Kate because that's what I prefer people calling me, Auntie Kate. You know, all those doctor, chief, whatever, whatever. For me, it doesn't make any meaning to me. What makes more meaning to me is Auntie Kate, working with people, people able to approach me and talk to me, people be able to converse with me and laugh with me. Because with people, you're majority. When you don't have people around you, you know, it doesn't make you anything. You know, people keep away from you. I don't want that. I want people around me. You know, a lot of my friends, I'm all older than them. They're all in the 50s, 60s, and even 40s, you know, and they're my friends, you know.
Wow. Since you're just refusing to grow, I think we all come, to you for, your secrets. How you've been able to, have all these wonderful supple skin and everything because you don't look 73. You don't look it at all, and that age actually looks good on you. I mean, since you're just 21,
Yes.
we're just accepting.
I know that because even when in 2019, when I went to our priest, because I was doing a Thanksgiving, for my birthday, was celebrating my birthday, and I said, "Oh, I've come to book a mass." And he said to me, "For what?" I said, "For my birthday." He said, "Oh, that's nice. It's nice when people turn to 60 because I'm, I can't say 50 because I'm looking at your children." I said, "What?" I said, "No." He said, "Is it 55?" I said, "No, Father, you got to go up." He said, "No, you can't be up to 65. Normally people celebrate birthdays at 60, but maybe 65, but I don't think so." I said, "No, Father, I'm actually 70. He said, "What?" He dropped everything and started looking at me, and I said, "Yes, 70. And like I was saying, one of my friends the other day, I said, the only thing that the disadvantage that I have is that when I occasionally I want to get in the bus, when I get in the bus and I sit down in that corner where it says for the elders, people come and they're looking at me, so yeah, they're looking at me like what she's sitting there for. Then I have to get up and stand up. And when I come into the bus, nobody gets up for me. So, so that one is it's not nice.
Wow, not at all. You know what?
Think of a 73-year-old getting up, because
Can imagine. We've seen your passion for vulnerable women and also widows, like widows. Was it because you are a widow and that's why you have that interest in vulnerable women and also widows?
I think
What kind of experience did you have that made you actually develop that interest in looking after widows and also vulnerable women?
yeah, this is a really good question. I went through a lot, when I lost my husband. It's better now. They've stopped that now, and in my town, coming to bury my husband, I'm not allowed to see the remains of my husband before he's buried because, yeah, because if you see him, it means that you are kind of stopping maybe the brothers or whatever to inherit you or something like that. It's nasty to talk about really, but I thank God that it's no more there. That so that's one of the things that for me, it was a very nice experience. And even I understand that even still in some of the towns in the eastern part of Nigeria that is still happening, where widows, when they lose their husband, people, their, husband's relatives take all their things, their property, husband property. But nobody think about you and the children. Nobody think about the children. It's like, and then another thing is that, you are seen as the person that killed your husband. So it's a terrible thing. So some of the women are still going through that. And, some of the women that are widows, they don't have good relationship with their in-laws and their husbands' people, and majority of them probably they haven't got a kind of a strong skill work they're doing. They depended on their husband's income and so forth. And that's why it's so important that we as women, we must do something for ourselves where you can earn your own money, where you can, because like I said, education is not everything. So you don't have to be a lawyer, for you, or a doctor for you to be able to, say, yes, I can walk and stand. You can be a saleswoman. You can, especially back home. Even people selling banana, orange, and things like that. My mother was a petty trader. Worked with my dad. My dad was very good. He's a businessman. He was very good at allowing my mother to do the things that she wants to do and keep her money, and give her money. Hence, because he believed in gender equality, So my mom, so with that, if we have lost my dad, my dad died when he was 86, 2003. If she had probably depended, or probably my dad, is not someone who believes in gender equality, probably my mother would have suffered. However, we're already grown, so we will not even allow, nobody can come near, because when we lost our dad, I was already married. Some of my brothers are married, so there were no children really, so they cannot do that to her. So some of the women are really suffering, some of them again, and some of the single women who probably become single women not because of widowhood, because of certain other things that happened. They are single. Then some of them find themselves again thinking that's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Many things that one can do. Like I said, you make sure that you have good friends around you, because sometimes if you have children, childcare, is important, or you support one another. These days they have like a play group. Like my daughter, I help with my grandchildren, take them to a play group where play and stay, or stay and play. They're playing, you stay there, and you meet up with other children, other moms, and you'll be surprised that you meet a few of the single mothers, and they start discussing about the issues, things that are with them. Then you can share. When you share, problem is reduced. When you share, then you soon find out there are some people that are having more issues than you are having. So I think, when I sit down and talk with them, this is where I said, now you can do this, you can do that. I don't. So they ask, Auntie Kate, how did you do this? I said, this is what I did. I said, but the most important thing is for you to believe that you can. If you start to doubt yourself, then things are not going to work out, because that doubting that you have is the one that is making you not progressing, because it's like a block. You've already blocked your mind. I can't do it. That's it. So where the energy is sapped. But
Yeah.
when you say, I can do it, yes, I can, then you start to think, how do I do it? Who have done it before? Let's see. You soon find out that yes, you can actually do things. But you have to begin by trusting yourself and believing yourself,
Trust.
determination, time management, be principled, and love yourself.
Wow. Wow. We've come to the end of our tonight's discussion, and I'm so blown away by the depth of wisdom that you've actually shared or poured, on this platform, and also to everyone watching us. We've all been inspired, and also we've all been empowered by tonight's discussion. So, Dr. Kate, Auntie Kate, Grandma Kate, Mom Kate, what are your final words? Anything that you want to share? You know, um, like your final words before we go, please.
My final words to you, all ladies out there waiting, looking, I'll have to say thank you first for watching and for listening. But what I can say to you, please, no matter what you do, love yourself to start with. Self love is very important. And be determined in what you want to do. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it, because you can. Try not to be a follower. If you have friends that are not encouraging, keep them away from you, keep them at a distance. Because there's nothing as bad as you trying to do something and somebody saying to you that you can't do it. When they say it one or two times, you believe yes, they're right. So don't have those type of friends around you. Very, very important. But the most important thing, look after yourself. Money is not everything. Health is wealth.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Kate. To our viewers out there, thank you so much for your company. And I just want to say to the woman, to the single woman watching me, to the married woman watching me, to the young girl watching me, and even, like to the young boy also watching us. Love yourself, just like Dr. Kate said, don't give up. Just say to yourself, I can. And then you are miles apart, miles ahead, sorry. Just say to yourself, I will start today. Don't procrastinate. I'm sorry, don't procrastinate. Sorry. But once you set your mind to do it, just go for it.
Yes.
Listen to yourself, listen to your spirit, pray about it, and then just start. There's no age limit. Our mommy, our grandmom, our auntie has already set that the pace or the space for us. She has done it all. A widow, a lone parent, a nurse, a lawyer, a midwife, a counselor, a deputy mayor, a mayor. I mean, so many. I mean, the awards are just numerous. She's done it. So you can do it as well. You and I, we don't have any more excuses. We can do it. So rise up and do something. Rise up and do something. To the one that feels stigmatized, just brush it aside. Let there be someone's opinion. But get up and say, I will arise. I will start again. I will look after those children myself, with or without any support. Yes, you can do it. And mommy has taught us about good networking. Let's surround ourselves with good friends that will not envy our colleagues, good friends that will just spur us on, good friends that will just encourage us, good friends that see us, our success as their success as well. And if you haven't, heard about Dr. Kate's book, that's her autobiography. This book is loaded. And I would encourage every parent out there to get one for the family, for your girls, for your boys, for your loved ones. And instead of buying toys for our children that don't even use them, please buy books. And that's one of the best books, out there that I would recommend you to buy for the family. And she's got another one, Time for Purpose, that was launched, last Friday, and it's out there. It's Time for Purpose. It's also loaded. I'm going to get one, right after this interview because I got this one. So I'm going to get Time for Purpose. And trust me, I know she will come back and I don't know, maybe one day we might have a discussion on Time for Purpose on this one. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
The autobiography is out there. Please put me on the screen. The autobiography on Amazon. Get it. Yeah, for your loved ones. Once again, thank you so much and have a blessed week. Until I see you, like another time.